up, guys? This is Aaron Jordan, Mr. Know Your Worth himself. I'm a relationship coach, I'm an author, I'm a motivator. We're going to talk to real people that overcame real issues right here on Cafe Conversations. Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to Cafe Conversations with Mr. Know Your Worth. Guys, we have the honor and pleasure of having Miss Monica Schmelter here on the show with us for a conversation. How you doing today, Monica? You doing all right?
I am wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yay.
I'm happy.
I'm happy
You just
too.
don't understand how amazing it feels just to sit down with you and just have a conversation with you about life, about certain things that's going on in our world today too as well. Guys, if you did not know, Monica, I owe so much gratitude to her. She was the first one to actually give me an opportunity here on TV. And I want to say just on the show, I really appreciate you and I thank you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, shucks, thank you. But just for the sake of the guests, just for, of course, everyone knows who you are. But I want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and things that you do and things that that you're doing now.
Yeah, well, I met you through my work at Christian Television Network,
Yes.
and I've been there for about 23 years now.
Man.
And I've been hosting Bridges for about 22
Wow.
years, and so I'm passionate about media and the influence that it plays on people's lives, and really my passion has been to present life in a real way.
Wow.
And faith that's open and honest,
Yeah.
and that doesn't put on pretenses, but that encourages people.
Wow, awesome, that's amazing. See, a lot of times people, when they see you out and they say, I've seen you on TV or I've seen you in a magazine or something like that, they just see the right now. But the thing is, they don't see the back end story or the story, the things that happen to get you to that point. Let's talk about that for a minute. Where did it all start with you?
Okay, so actually when I was in high school,
Okay.
I felt like God leading me to study broadcast.
Okay.
And so I followed that path, but when I got out of college, I didn't feel like, I was thinking I was going to be an anchor. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
my God, yeah.
So I was thinking that's what God meant.
Yeah.
But after I graduated from college, I felt like God said, no, don't apply for any of those jobs. So
Wow.
I didn't understand any of that. And so I took a job at the Detroit Rescue Mission.
Wow.
And I wrote a radio ad and copy, and it was a great job. I loved it. And I met the president of the Christian Television Network
Wow.
through my work there.
That's
and he
amazing.
offered me a job without me applying.
Wow, favor.
Yes.
Unlimited, unwavering favor.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. One thing I want to talk about is that right now in the times that we're in, because now you see that there's a lot of things that happen in our economy, in our country, and so it's a lot of people that's going through some things mentally right now, battling depression, or they were in certain situations that they couldn't get out of. Now that we're in this, that we're in that whole quarantine stage, it kind of intensified that situation. So let's talk about the depression and things of that nature. Over the course of your journey, have you ever had any things that got you down or caused you to be depressed or anything like that?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so, when you told me the subject of depression, a lot of times
Wow.
people don't think that that's exciting, but
Yeah.
I think that we can have a really helpful conversation.
Most definitely we can.
It was just a few years ago. It wasn't like in a way distant past, but my very best friend for 18 years, like
Wow.
other than Jesus, she probably knew the most about me. Tragically,
That was a good one.
Yeah, tragically, she committed suicide.
Wow.
And that loss was huge in my life.
Wow.
And the grief and just the shock.
Yeah.
And then round about the same time, someone that I really care about that had been clean and sober for like 8 years relapsed
Wow.
and had a near fatal overdose. Now, they were able to revive the person, and I'm grateful, but whether it was shame or guilt, the person felt like they needed to distance themselves from
Wow.
me, and that was painful. And I found myself spiraling into a depression.
Yeah.
And here I am, right? The
Yeah.
lady on Christian TV, the one that people
Wow.
expect me to be happy, and that people imagine all of these things. And I had to come to terms with
Wow.
that I was depressed and I couldn't dig out of it.
Wow. And it was one of those things that where you was in that situation, could you find a way to How did you find your way to like dig out of that situation? Because I know a lot of times when we're in business or we have to go about our working lives, we have to go and we have to put that mask on,
That's
right? Because a lot of people are dealing with that right now.
Yeah.
How did you cope with that situation?
So this is what I did. I allowed myself 30 minutes a day to take that mask off. If I wanted to have a pity party, if I wanted to cry, whatever I wanted to do, when my 30 minutes were up, I needed to get back up and do my thing, right? Because I knew that all the promises of God were true. I never doubted any of that. I was just in this heat of the battle. So I had my 30 minutes a day break. I did get Christian counseling. I felt that that was extremely helpful. And I did talk to my doctor, and I did, for a time, go on an antidepressant to help me get through that slump. Absolutely. It was like a stair step to just help me just a little bit get to a better place mentally. And so I encourage people, Christian or no Christian, we get sick, we live in a broken, fallen world.
We do.
We need to do what we need to do to take care of our mental health.
Most definitely we do. So I think you said something that I thought was really profound, because a lot of times when you think about it, we're in a position where we don't like to talk about our pain. We're in a position where we don't like to talk about our hurt. And you got to the point where you were able to talk to someone. You were able to seek out that help and ask those questions. So for someone that's actually sitting right now in that particular position, what would you say to them, or how would you encourage them to seek out help?
So look at it as the best investment in yourself that you can make. And if you're worried about people seeing you or that stigma, just get over it in the light of getting better. I remember that.
I think you probably need to repeat that one more time. Get over it in the light of getting better.
Exactly. Get over it in the light of getting better.
That's a tweetable, y'all.
Yes. I remember sitting in the counseling office, someone looking at me and saying, "Monica Schmelter, you're here."
Wow.
You know what I said back? So are you.
You're in the same place that I am.
And that's what I would say to people, like, we're all in this together. And there's probably not one person, Aaron, watching that hasn't struggled with depression, that hasn't thought, do I need to go to counseling? And I say, if you're doing all the things you know to do to get better, and it's not getting better, then you need counseling.
Then you need to talk to someone.
Exactly.
You need to seek out that help.
Yes.
But a lot of times pride may step in the way, or things in the family say, okay, well, whatever happens in my house stays in my house, or some things that happen in childhood, you know, because a lot of times people are dealing with that as well.
Absolutely.
Things that happen in their adolescent times. So how would you speak to that with someone?
So I have all of that in my life, like just a rough upbringing, a lot of what I would describe as childhood trauma. But the thing is, you can't get better if you won't take the right steps.
Did y'all hear that? You can't get better if what?
Unless you take the right steps.
Wow, that's amazing. And the thing is that a lot of people are asking questions on what are the right steps. You know, because a lot of times people in this situation and they're looking at it like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this situation. And they're, like I said before, pride is a powerful thing that can keep us stagnant in life. So how would you speak to someone as far as dealing with those pride issues?
Well, first of all, we have to accept that our level of thinking is what got us where we are.
Most definitely.
So we got to think differently, right? Got to do something differently. And so there's things like right diet, exercise. And this is where sometimes an antidepressant can help, because it gives you just enough energy to get out of the slump. Medical treatment, counseling, and feeding ourselves on good things, being around positive people.
Positivity feeds that all day.
It does. Being around people that will lift us up. You know, we all have toxic people that we're related to and that we know. I call those people HM, high maintenance.
So that's a tweet. That's another tweet. That's 3 tweetables that you did in the first. High maintenance, HM. Let's go.
And take those people right out of your cell phone. I just block them right there.
Just block them, instantly block.
Because if you want to get better, you can't keep doing the same old thing.
They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, but expecting different results.
That's right. That's right. And even though I believe that prayer is powerful and effective, there is a part that we have to play. And a part of that part is the right diet, exercise, being around. The Bible talks about not being around hotheads, not being around people that are angry all the time and that
Yeah.
are negative, all those things
Most
feed
definitely.
negatively into our spirit. So we have to do our part to get that out.
We have to get to the point where we can actually speak to the subconscious mind.
Yes.
Because I think about it, and I tell people that, you know, anything that you want to manifest into reality, you have to deal with it inwardly first.
That's right.
You know, and so in order for you to get to the point of being able to heal, you have to do your own homework on yourself.
That's right.
They call me, quote unquote, the relationship guy. So that's one of the things that you have to understand is that in order for you to deal with your hurt, deal with your pain, whatever that pain may be, you have to get to the point of where you can actually face it.
That's right.
Deal with the inner hurt, and then where it can actually exude from you
Right.
too as well.
Right.
So since we're on the topic of relationship, because I'm the relationship guy, so but for the people that are in this situation, because we're some type of normalcy is starting to happen. So for the people that was in that situation, they're in those tumultuous relationships, and they don't see an end to it, and they're battling depression too as well. What do you say to them?
Yeah. So here's the thing. That's about making that first step and decision that I can't stop the crazy people
Most
around
definitely.
me from being crazy, but I can stop the crazy.
Yeah.
And so as painful as that is to just cut that off
Wow.
and to do something different,
Wow.
because they're not going to cut it off because they're used to that crazy entanglement with us,
Yeah.
and we've been participating with it,
Yeah.
willingly or unwillingly, right?
Yes.
And we have to cut that off and say, I deserve something better.
Wow. Basically cut the ties.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
what people don't understand is like soul ties is a very powerful thing as well.
Yeah.
What did you say about that?
You got to burn the ship and don't look back.
That's 4 tweetables.
Yeah.
Burn the ship and don't look back.
Yeah.
I'm
don't
gonna
look
take
back.
that one.
Yeah. You can
Is
take
it
that
okay
one.
if I can borrow that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I always pray, I say, God, give me the grace not to miss what's not good for me.
Come on. She's in tweetable heaven right now. but I think a lot of times, like, conversations like this is what people need to hear.
Absolutely.
And I think that talking about the subject, bringing it to the forefront, and letting people know you're not by yourself. You're not by yourself when you're dealing with hardships in relationships, hardships in your life too as well. And so let's go to another point too as well. In your career, okay, in your career, achieving the level of success that you've achieved, I know that there were some breaking points where you was like, I can't go on.
Well, that's been just about one day a week.
Right now, it's like that for me too.
You know, I remember, Aaron, when I became the general manager for Christian Television Network, I had people tell me to my face, we don't think you can do it.
Wow.
We've never hired a woman to do this before. We don't think you can do it. Well, you know, all those are tough days,
Yeah.
but I try not to let other people's problems be my problems,
Wow.
right?
Yeah,
you
most
can think
definitely.
what you want to think. I can't make you like me, can't make you believe in me, but I'm going to keep doing what I do.
Monica, that was awesome. I really appreciate that. Guys, we're going to be right back. We're on Cafe Conversations with Mr. Know Your Worth.
I've been fortunate to live in Middle Tennessee all my life. I love the culture, the people, and the Southern traditions. People often ask, why are you so passionate about what you do? It's simple. I love people. I've been privileged to serve the Middle Tennessee area as an award-winning, top-producing realtor since 2011. My name is Gabrielle Garner, and I'm here to lead you home. Call today for your complimentary consultation.
Today's show was brought to you by Tennessee Minority Pages, your one-stop shop for minority businesses. Hey guys, welcome back to Cafe Conversations with Mr. Know Your Worth. Guys, I told you, if you missed the first half of the show, man, you need to really tune in now. We have the pleasure of having Miss Monica Schmelter here sharing her amazing story, and we're talking about on the topic of depression. Guys, how you doing, Miss Monica? You doing all right?
Doing great.
You are still with me.
Yes.
I didn't run you off, right?
Didn't run me off yet.
We shared, there was some powerful things that we talked about leading in with depression and how it can kind of stagnate us where we are and help and stagnate us from the level of progression. So I want to talk about the beginning where you started, as far as with your career and where you are now, because it always amazes me where it's the beginning story and how the trials and tribulations that happen in the beginning, we stay through that storm, but then we manifest and come out on the end. Let's talk about that.
Yes. So when I first started with Christian Television Network, you know, as I shared with you, I was the first person first woman that they ever made a general manager.
Okay.
So the start probably wasn't as pretty as one might hope, right?
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I had this experience in broadcast. I had this degree. I wanted to do all of these great things. I'm passionate about the influence of media, and yet I felt like I got treated as less than.
Wow.
And you know, the station at WHTN at the time was really in huge financial arrears. We could hardly stay on the air. It wasn't a pretty picture anyway.
I can only imagine.
And so here I am, new to the area from the Detroit area, trying to figure out all of this, Motor City, trying to figure out all of this, knowing that there's kind of that little thought in people's head, well, she's the first woman, we don't think she can make it. And it wasn't at the time a great station anyway.
Wow.
Then I remember, Aaron, someone on the board of CTN saying to me, because at this time, WHTN was about 40% infomercials and about 20% home shopping, and then the other part was Christian. And the board of directors said to me, we've decided to cancel all the home shopping and infomercials, and that was the only, that was the only revenue we had.
Wow.
And I said, well, you know, if we do that, we're not going to have any money.
We don't have any cash flow coming in.
Exactly. Like, we can hardly pay the bills now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, so here you've had all these men that have failed at this job.
Wow.
And now you get me, and the only money we have, you're canceling it.
You're getting rid of it. You're not giving me a leg to stand on.
That's exactly how I felt. And Aaron, so the board said to me, well, we just want to go 24 Christian, and we just think God is going to honor this. And I said, okay. I said, I'm going to give it my best. Within 90 days, I had recouped all of that revenue.
What?
Yes. I went
90.
out and I pounded the pavement. I knocked on churches' doors, business doors, and I said, hey, we're a Christian station. I know we don't have a good signal. I know we don't look good, but we're going to do something in this town. I said, God is with us. And, well, you know, I didn't even have to know what I was talking about, but I was saying it.
But you were just going at it.
I was, because I believed that God would help, and He did.
And the thing, and I want people to really just dissect that, because when you started, you had a lot of things that were not in your favor.
No.
You had a lot of things that were fighting against you and preventing you not to succeed or not to achieve. But the fortitude of you being persistent and staying focused. A lot of times now you have a lot of people that have a goal, have a dream, but when things get rough, what happens? They fold. They fold under that pressure. They give up. So what do you say to that person that's right now that's on the brink of giving up on their dream? What do you say to them?
Well, one thing is you have to keep showing up.
Wow.
And another thing is you don't have, you know, it's not just about your attendance, not just be present, but to give it your full effort.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's all of that. It's showing up, it's giving your full effort, and believing that God's going to help. Now, did I think God was going to help every day? No.
I can only imagine
No.
your thought process at that time.
And people full out told me God's not going to help. This station's always been in the rears. You're never going to be able to do anything.
Wow.
I mean, every time it rained real hard outside, it flooded in the building.
Man, flooded.
I mean, you know, it was just bad. Like, we had mice in the building. The middle section of the building didn't have heat and air. It just, everything was against us.
Wow. And I want people to just really let that sit, because the thing is, I'm a real big component of thoughts are things. They manifest into reality. And so when you think about that, you have to think about the fact that where does it start? It starts with your mindset. You thinking that you can achieve the impossible. Once you get that confirmation from only one source, that's all you need. And a lot of people, they let the outside influences stagnate their judgment, let it hinder them and keep them stagnated in one place. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it, right?
You know, that's exactly right. And I tell myself all the time, God in me is bigger than anything outside of me.
Wow.
And if we remember that, to show up, to do your best, God in me is bigger than anything outside of me, and just keep at it.
Wow, just keep at it, keep paving the way. And so let's dive it back to this point here as well. So when you, as you're going through that, because I know with me, in certain situations that I have went through to get to the point where I am, it came with a cost. It came with a sacrifice. And so whether it's sacrifice time with family, whether it's sacrifice time with in other areas, how of an impact has it had as far as on your support system and things like that?
Yeah. So of course there is a sacrifice, and I think that that's something that a lot of people don't realize. That, you know, you can look at someone and think, well, that's just been easy for them.
Yeah.
Oh, I could do that. And I don't disagree with that. You could probably do that where they already are where they are.
Wow.
But could you go through all that they went through?
Wow.
And so I never sacrificed my family.
Yeah.
You know, I have one husband and one son. And I never sacrificed time with them because they're everything
Most
to
definitely.
me. But I did sacrifice personal times. I did sacrifice what could have been hobbies or special times out maybe with friends or that kind of thing. I did have to sacrifice that.
So when you're traveling and you're speaking, I'm pretty sure the crowd, as far as with the young people, are there in the crowd. Do you have a lot of young people that come and ask for information or try mentorship too as well? That's a real big thing right now, because I think a lot of times the younger generation, they need those mentors that actually went through the tests and trials of what they're looking to go through.
And I'm happy to do it because I wish that somebody would have reached out to me.
Man, I'm sitting here thinking about it now.
Yeah. I wish that there would have been a woman or even a man that would have said, I've been where you've been, let me help you. Like, this is how it is. It's really hard. Yes, you feel like quitting every day. I wish somebody would have said that to me. Because there I was, like, all alone, just feeling like, okay, God, you've got to help me because I don't know what to do. And so I'm glad to speak into the lives of people that are younger than me than to say, you can do this. And if people try to negate you because of your gender or because of your color, you can overcome that.
You can.
It's not easy, but you can overcome.
And that's the part I want people to understand. It's not easy.
No.
Don't go into a situation thinking that it's easy, because you're going to have trials, you're going to have tribulations, you're going to have obstacles that roadblocks that stand in your way that's going to try to stagnate you, that's going to try to stunt your growth.
Yeah. I remember one time, Aaron, that when I was at CTN headquarters, this guy who was in a much higher position than me asked myself and another manager to come to lunch. Well, the other manager, for whatever reason, wasn't able to show as he planned. Okay, so I'm sitting down with this guy who's in a higher position than me, and the conversation starts to go in the wrong direction.
Wow.
Okay, so this is a long time ago, before I had a cell phone, and he starts telling me how his wife, you know, doesn't understand him, and he's lonely, and I'm thinking, what in the world?
I'm like, check please.
You know what I did? I didn't know what to do. I popped up and I said, you know what? I gotta go. And he said, you gotta go? I said, yep, gotta go. And the hotel room wasn't far from where I was. I just walked back. I never told anybody about it. I didn't feel like that I would necessarily be believed or understood, and I didn't want to be that stigmatized person. I hope it's not as hard for women now as it was then, but when we talk about it's not easy, it's not pretty, it's not.
It's not.
I didn't know what to think about all that. I just kept thinking, sir, you're supposed to be a Christian man talking like this.
Wow.
You know, and I just got myself out of the...
So you removed yourself from that situation.
I did.
And when I pause, I sit and I let it sit for a minute, because the thing is, people don't understand like the abuse. Abuse can happen in several different ways, several different facets of it. And one form is what you were talking about too as well. So it's a lot of people that's going through that right now.
And I
don't know what to do.
I mention it only to say this doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you can't overcome. Just think strategically and do the best you can in the moment. You know, I look back and I think there's 100 different ways I could have handled that, but I did the best I could
in that situation.
that situation and with what I knew to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just run from that, but don't stop doing what you're supposed to be
Yeah,
doing.
don't stop doing, don't let those roadblocks hinder your growth. Don't let those roadblocks stagnate you from your progression too as well. And so, Monica, so you're, one thing I saw on social media, now, and I wanted to talk about this before I let you go, you're speaking.
Yes.
You've done a lot of speaking engagements. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I love to go out and share with people my faith and, you know, my story. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't know I had a grandfather that was Muslim. He did become a Christian before he passed away. My dad is a Christian now, but he was an atheist for a lot of years. I mean, I've been through so much. And I like to share with people that you really can overcome.
That your story is not meant for you, it's meant for others.
That's right, that's right. And that a lot of these things that we just don't like about our lives and that seem so ugly and so pitiful, they're the very things, if we'll surrender to God, the very things God will work through.
Once we just let go and get out of our own way, get out of our own mindset, and just let Him take control. So what are some of the topics that you speak on? I know you said sharing your story and things like that, but I'm pretty sure you get asked a lot of questions on that too as well, as far as how-tos and how do I get out of this situation? How do I deal with this situation?
Absolutely. A lot of times people like to do a question and answer session with me where people can just ask, like, how do you make it through in a family where nobody believes but you and you're 13 years old? And
that's a lot for a 13.
Yeah, it is. I love to share with people. God just taught me how to love everybody. I didn't let anybody bother me. I loved on everybody. And you know, that's amazing.
That is, and it brings this point, because when I travel and speak to as well, I went to Atlanta, and I did a relationship conference there, and that was around my first time just really putting on my own event and going and traveling and speaking. So the reciprocation that I got from the crowd and from people wanting to know, how do I deal with this situation? How do I overcome this situation? How do I deal with the hold of it? It's taking over my life. The people being receptive to your story. That's a powerful thing.
People are open. I know one of the topics people ask me on that I share is labels, lies, and the truth. We've all been labeled. We all believe lies, but what is the truth?
What is the truth?
What is the truth? How can we get to a place that our life and that our relationships are enjoyable? Because it's possible.
It is
not
possible.
Easy, but possible.
But possible. Monica, I really appreciate you coming on the show, having a conversation. Before I let you go, tell people where they can find you and possibly book you.
Yes, so you can go to monicaschmelter.com.
Awesome. Monica, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Guys, I told you it was going to be an awesome show today. We had the pleasure of having Miss Monica Schmelter on the show, sharing her amazing story. Guys, just like I end everything, understand and know that your worth is undeniable and your value is priceless.
I've been fortunate to live in Middle Tennessee all my life. I love the culture, the people, and the Southern traditions. People often ask, why are you so passionate about what you do? It's simple. I love people. I've been privileged to serve the Middle Tennessee area as an award-winning, top-producing realtor since 2011. My name is Gabrielle Garner, and I'm here to lead you home. Call today for your complimentary consultation.